Hi, Adam. So cute. Isn't he? So I'm standing in my doctor's office because a week earlier I was at work and I was in a meeting about a meeting regarding a meeting. So very productive. And I felt like someone had poured cold ice water down my back. And all I thought was, that's not an STD I'm used to, right? So in the waiting room, when I'm waiting, I always feel like it's my job to put everybody at ease. So there's a group of people all nervous. So I say out loud, hey, just so you know, 98% of the time that you come to the doctor, it's nothing. And that's a made-up number that I made up in my head. Because numbers help people and statistics help people, so I'm there. I'm a helper, okay? So I go into the doctor's and I explain, I said, she said, what happened? I said, well, a week ago I had that weird sensation. I went to the emergency room and the doctor there said, oh, you probably pulled your back out. And he pulled out some sample tablets. And before he even told me what the tablets were for, I had taken them. and I said to him, just be cautious because if I find a tablet in a parking lot, I will take it. So let's divvy this out slowly. So she said, I think we need to have you go down to get an x-ray. So I traipse down to get an x-ray, and I'm getting the x-ray done. It's Friday, I think I'm just going home, and the x-ray technician who's eating a granola bar says to me, are you headed home after this? You're headed back up? And I said, oh, I'm just going home because, they'll call me if there's anything. And she said, oh, you're not going anywhere. And I thought, is it syphilis? Let's just get it out in the open. We can all talk about it. And she said, no, and she turned the screen, and I could see I had no left lung. And I said, where's my lung? And then she said, it's probably up here somewhere. And then she adds a little something as they're walking me back upstairs. She says, it's called tension pneumothorax now. It can happen to anyone at any time, and if you had gone home, you would have died in your sleep. With a smile. And I'm like, oh, thanks. So I go back upstairs, and they have to call an ambulance, which is totally embarrassing, right? They strap me to a stretcher, and then they bring me out through where I told people not to worry. So I wave. It's just my lung. I don't have a lung. Don't worry about it. I just don't have a lung. So in the ambulance, I have to do the worst part of this, which is to call my husband. My husband, wonderful man. I'm saying that because he's in the audience. But wonderful man. But he is not the best with this stuff because he always thinks I'm on the edge of dying. Just because I'm 6 years older than him. He's like, you're about to die. So I call him from the ambulance, and I decide I need to reword it. So what I say is, listen, I'm going to visit the hospital. I've lost my left lung. They think they know where it is. Don't worry about it. But I need you to come home and take care of the dogs. Right. Bye. Click. At the hospital, no one can believe that I'm the person that doesn't have a functioning 100% left lung. And this hot doctor, of course, comes in when I look my absolute worst. And he says to me, listen, this is what we're going to have to do, and this is not going to feel good. We're going to penetrate through your chest wall, and then you're going to have to inhale. It's going to be really painful. And I said the thing I thought I would never say to a hot guy, which is, I don't know if I want you to penetrate me. Which is odd for me to say. I was like, are these even words coming out of my mouth? So I get a room in the middle of the night. They send me upstairs. And in the morning, I get up and I get dressed, totally dressed. I take this box that's attached to me that has a tube coming out going into a gurgle box that anytime I inhale, you can hear it gurgling. And I put that in my messenger bag, and I go down to get coffee, right? So I get coffee, absolutely fine. The next day, my husband arrives, and again, my husband, with these stressful situations, gets a little, let's say, self-focused, right? It's absolutely adorable. I mean, ultimately, it will be in the divorce papers, but right now, it's cute. Right now, I'm still like, oh, that's cute. And he comes in, and the first thing he says to me, I have tubes coming on me, is he says, listen, I stubbed my toe really bad at the house. And it's all swollen. I've never had that happen. I have no lung, but okay, yeah, let's talk. And I was like, maybe we should get a surgeon to come out and look at you quickly, right? So it was decided that surgery was the only option. And so something that people need to know is nurses rock. Because if you, and I'm not saying this, Adam, thank you, Adam. So, no, nurses rock because if you respect nurses for what they do fun things for you, right? So after the surgery, I needed help bathing, and the nurses were like, let's get Ricardo. And I thought, what's going on? And the thing is that Ricardo came in, and sad for him. He's too muscular. They don't have the scrubs that fit him there, so he's got to bring his own, so he doesn't want to get that one wet, so he's got to take it off when he's helping me. Sad. So sad. Absolutely brilliant. So when I got home, I didn't realize the emotional toll of everything, right? It was just devastating. But the one thing I got was I went down to the coffee shop after the surgery, and there was a little boy there, this gay boy that worked there, and he said to me, listen, last time you were here, someone came in and they complained because you had your gurgle box. And he said, just so you know, she's here. The woman that complained, she's behind you. So I approach her and I say, listen, I remember seeing you and you really remind me of my mom. I don't have much time left. So it's really nice to see a familiar face. Thank you. At home, I was devastated, but my husband really set me back up. I was in the bathroom looking at myself and absolutely devastated with what occurred. He gently knocked on the door and looked in and said, how long are you going to be? There's a sale at Target. Thank you.